Hi everyone, today we are going to sew our own felted toadstool keychain. We're going to start with our template and our red felt, and I'm using a black marker so that you can see what I've done, but I would use something that disappears into the fabric a little bit better. You don't need to trace the base on the red. I don't know why I did. We're going to cut out two of everything. So I have my two tops, and then I traced the bottom onto the tan, and I have two of those. So everything is going to be sewn together and sandwiched. Now I have my buttons. I have 3 white buttons, so I'm going to get my white thread and my needle to sew my buttons on. So we have to put the thread through the loop at the end. We're going to loop it through so that the thread is doubled and tie a knot at the base. I like to do a double knot just in case you don't have to. So we're not going to put the buttons on the outside where you can see the marker. We're going to sew from the inside to the outside. So the buttons are going to go on the clean side. And then I'm just going to sew these on by making an X. So I'm going to put my thread through opposite holes, bring it through the back side, and I'm going to complete the X by doing the opposite pair of holes. And I'm going to do this twice to make sure my buttons are extra secure. Once my button is secure with the little X, I'm going to tie a knot as close as I possibly can onto the back. And all of this will be hidden because we're sandwiching our felt pieces together. And then what we'll do is we'll repeat this process for the other buttons. So we have 3 buttons total, so we'll repeat this 2 more times. I do prefer to cut my thread and tie a knot and start over for each button, because sometimes if you try to continue your thread and do the 3 buttons on a continual piece of thread, sometimes you'll have some puckering and your thread will pull too much, so this makes it nice and clean. So now I have all of my pieces ready and waiting. I'm going to use my tan colored thread to match my tan colored toadstool base. And again, I'm going to loop it through the needle and tie a knot. To sew it, I'm going from the inside, that way I'll hide my knot in between the sandwich pieces of felt, and this is where the marker comes in handy for mine so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going from the inside, and now I'm going to poke my needle through the top, and I've just created a little loop. There it is, you can barely see it because the thread matches and the exposure on our camera is not that great. But I'm tucking my knot inside so that it totally disappears in between the 2 pieces of felt. But I'm just going to continue going from bottom to top and creating a loop over and over again. And pulling my thread nice and tight. Sometimes you can get a little knot, which is what keeps happening to me. But that's okay. So again, from bottom to top, and I'm creating a loop to hold my 2 pieces of felt together all the way around. I'm doing mine a little quick and a little messy, but you can make yours nice and even. There you go, you can see them, how they're holding the 2 pieces together. So now you can, once you get all the way around, you can tie a knot. I put mine at the base of the toadstool. I don't know why. If I were you, I would tie your knot at the top. That way it's hidden when you sandwich your mushroom together. So now we're going to get our key ring and our red ribbon. This red ribbon is what holds our key ring in place. And so we're going to stitch it with a little bit of our red thread to hold it in place. And again, this can be pretty messy because you're going to hide it in between your sandwich piece of red mushroom cap. So I'm just creating a couple of quick stitches back and forth. You can make an X, you can do whatever you'd like, you can even glue it. And then cut it and tie a knot. And so see, this piece of ribbon will be tucked neatly into our red mushroom cap. And then the base of the toadstool will also tuck into our mushroom cap. So the whole thing is sandwiched together, so we're going to repeat the same stitch now on the red cap like we did on the tan base. We're going to get our red thread, loop it and tie, and we're going to go from the center that way our knot is hidden in between the sandwich pieces, and we're going to keep going from bottom to top to create the little loops. My thread is a lot longer on this one, so I'm kind of trying to use my pinky nail to hold the thread to prevent it from knotting up, and sometimes I have to stop because there's a little knot. That's okay. But I'm going to keep going from bottom to top, and you'll see when I get to the base, I go right through it. You'll never be able to tell. It's not going to look that messy. It's going to look perfect. And I go right through it as part of my bottom to top. Once I get all the way around to the top, I'm going to get my ribbon for my key ring, and I'm going to sew that the same way to hold it in place with these little loops. See here, I'm going from the bottom, poking right through to the top, and then going right back down to the bottom to top. You can see all my stitches all the way around. And then I'm just going to finish this up, tie a knot, tuck it in, and that's your keychain.